There's great power in prayer, even more in group prayer. This is the foundation of the Unity Movement and our church. Our prayer ministry has close to over 100 active participants supporting our community and the world. There's great synergy in us coming together consistently. Beyond our own personal experience with prayer, there's so much evidence to its impact on the collective consciousness. The Maharishi effect shows that if 1% of the population meditates, it produces measurable improvements in the quality of life for the whole population. The world is going through a lot of change. We must go to the unchanging realm of the divine and help co-create the best outcome for the most impactful event taking place. Let's join together to support this cause. Thank you for joining us. Your presence, your consciousness is summoned for humanity at this time.
When I was just a little girl, I asked my mother, what will I be? Will I be pretty? Will I be rich? Here's what she said to me. Que sera, sera. Whatever will be is gonna be. The future is never ours to see. Que sera, que sera, que sera. Then I grew up and fell in love. I asked my lover, what will we be? Will we be happy and will we be rich? Here's what she said to me. Hey, hey, Sarah, Sarah. Whatever will be is gonna be. And you know the future's never, 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 never ours to see. Que sera, que sera, que sera. children of my own. They ask their dad, what will we be? Will we be handsome? Will we be rich? I try to tell them faithfully, hey, it's alright, it's alright, it's alright. Whatever's gonna be, will be. And you know the future's never, 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 never ours to see. Que sera, que sera. It's gonna be. No, the future's never ours, and you know it's never, never ours to see. Que sera, que sera, que sera, que sera.
Tim Smith.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Hello and good morning. What a great day it is to be here at Unity of the Triangle. Last week we let go of all the stuff we needed to let go of from last year. This year today we're gonna set the intention for this year, and Newsom's gonna guide us through the whole process of that. So a lot to look forward to here on Sunday. We're just going to keep rolling with some great music. Next song is an original tune by Tim Smith. And he's going to get it going.
I am the earth, I am your mother. I am the one before all others. And I ask you this most desperately, please be kind and be good. Please take good care of one another. Love your father and your mother and your sister and your brother. Take really good care of one another. But most especially, please be good to me. Please be good to me. Please be kind, be good. Do what you know you should. Be strong, don't fight, whether you're wrong or even if you're right. Work hard and play fair. Love your sister and your brother. Take really good care of one another. But most especially, please be good to me. Please be good to me. especially. Please be good to me. Please, please be good to me. Please, please be good. Love your father and your mother. Take good care of one another. Ooh, but most especially, please be good to me. 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 Thank you. And as we dismiss the students to class, please remain standing for the welcome song. Welcome into this place. Welcome into this open vessel. You desire to abide in the praises of your people. So we lift our hands and we lift our hearts as we offer up this praise unto your name. Welcome into this place. Welcome into this open vessel. You desire to abide in the praises of your people. So we lift our hands and we lift our hearts as we offer up this praise unto your name. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
Let us pray. From the goodness of our divinity, our hearts swell with unconditional love and open to infinite possibilities. We breathe in this goodness so fully that we see the goodness of God in every name in this prayer box and in every person that comes to mind, including friend and foe. With attention to our highest intention of expressing God's goodness, we allow the desires of our hearts to bubble up to our awareness. The desires of our heart are God-given. They are the longings of our innate divinity. Through the power of our imagination, we envision new ways of being and acting that lead us to our sacred life's purpose. We stand in faith, trusting that as we begin anew, our next steps are being revealed to us under grace and in perfect ways. As the seeds of new ideas grow and flourish, the divinity within us manifests exactly who we are meant to be and what we are meant to do. We harmoniously implement spiritual practices that enhance our lives, so we live from spiritual truths. With gratitude for these intentions, we let it be. Amen.
Gentle Spirit, flow in me. Gentle Spirit, grow in me. Gentle Spirit, show in me. Gentle Spirit, know me. Gentle Spirit, flow in me. Gentle Spirit, grow in me. Gentle Spirit, show in me. Gentle Spirit, know me.
As we move into meditation, let the body become comfortable. Find a way to sit that allows you to relax. Today we're just relaxing to begin with, and then we'll pay attention to the breath, and then we'll go deeper. So let's relax the body, starting with the top of the head. Feel the relaxation pour over the body. The face relaxes, the neck, shoulders, chest and back. Let the belly relax. Let the legs relax, the hips, the feet. Now let's pay attention to the breathing. We feel the breath come in and go out. We feel the body rise and fall with the breath. We let the breath be our total focus for a few seconds until our mind can just rest there easily. As though we were on a warm ocean, rising and falling with the gentle waves. Let our minds rise and fall with the breath. Let us expand our sense of self beyond the body. First sensing the space about, and then moving our consciousness into that space. Let us imagine that expanded sense of self is in full contact with the one presence and the one power. And in this restful state, let us ask what is ours to do, what we are being called to, what spirit is beckoning us to be, to do, or to have. Now let us ask our ego, that persistent sense of self, what it would like us to do or to have. And finally, let us ask the body what it would like us to do. In the silence, let us continue to be alert to what we are being called by the different parts of our being to be, to do, and to have, as we sit in holy silence.
Give us this day our daily bread. You said you would supply all my needs according to your riches. I have but to ask, and I shall receive. To go from here and share this love you gave to me, to show someone who's lost and help them find their way, the way to truth and faith, so they can be free like me, free like me. Lord, we are your love. Lord, we are your peace. Lord,
Before I get going, I want to say that on the 29th we'll be having our annual January congregational meeting, and so I invite you all to be there for that. We'll also have it streamed if you're not here in person, but we go over the budget, we elect the leadership selection committee, and have discussions about some of the plans we have for the rest of the year. So I invite you to be there for that. I also want to tell you that I was called a friend earlier this week, kind of as the first part of the year. I got his answering machine, and it said something like this. It said, thanks for your call. I'm currently reviewing a lot of my life right now and trying to decide which changes to keep and which ones to let go of. If you don't hear from me, you're one of the latter. I have a stack of jokes that I have used over the years, and so if you haven't been here in 10 years and you just happen to come back today, you're probably going to hear this one more time. So here we go. The old farmer in Georgia had owned a large farm for several years. He had a large pond in the back, fixed with a nice set of picnic tables and horseshoes and basketball courts, etc. The pond was properly shaped and fed from a nice stream. It was a beautiful place to be. One evening, the old farmer decided to go down to the pond and check on everything, and as he gets there, he hears giggling and splashing, and there are a bunch of young women skinny dipping in his pond. And so, knowing that he might frighten them, he comes up slowly, and lets them know he's on his way. And so they move into the deeper part of the pond, and like brash young women, they said, "We're not coming out until you go away." He says, I'm not here to cause y'all any trouble. I'm just here to feed the alligators." All right. Today we're going to talk about setting goals. It's not simply like setting goals. And I think sometimes when we set goals, they tend to come from a particular segment of our awareness. That is, our segment of awareness is particularly tuned into what's missing in our lives. And so we've set a goal to get something, to counteract what's not there. And I don't think that's what these letters that we'll be working on today really are about. So if you didn't get paper and pen, we have some. They're right here. You just raise your hand, and these fine people will give you whatever you need. What you'll have is an envelope. We would like you to address the envelope to yourself. We will send this envelope back to you sometime in the future, in a few months. So put your address on there, and we're going to put something in that envelope, so you don't have to worry about what you put in that envelope. The single sheet of 8.5 by 11 paper is for you to take notes and work anything out if you wanted to get the wording just right. And then the small piece of paper with the blue printing on it, that's for you to keep. And what we're hoping is that as you write on that, you will write your distilled thoughts, your personal hopes and dreams, your intention for the year. That you will keep. And so unlike last year and the years before when we used to stuff those into the envelope and then you would get them mailed back to you, we feel like you'll have a better chance of achieving it if you're reminded of it more often than once every so many months. So keep it with you. Put it on your dresser or on your refrigerator or someplace that will give you a chance to be reminded of what you decided today. That's the logistics. If that doesn't make sense, I'll try to go over it again piece by piece. So, I think, so this is not some expert's idea, but I think basically when you can get your higher self your ego, and your body to agree on something, the intention has a much more chance of coming about. And so when we did this little meditation, we asked first, what does your higher self, your divine, what does God, however you say it, what does that energy want? And what is it trying to pull you toward? So I think when we contemplate that, what we're moving toward is more than not a state of being. It's not always about what it needs you to do, though that may be quite a bit of it, or it's not so much what you have, but what is the soul of you being invited to become, to occupy as a vibration, to be? What are you being called to be? And it's a trick for some of us to distinguish between that higher voice, that still small voice, and the voice of the ego, or the voice of the superego, as they would say in some fields of psychology, this part that you have been trained to think you should be like. Instead of that, what is it actually, this universal energy of which you are part, this home in which you have always resided but have many times probably forgotten or did not realize? What is that home calling you back to? And so it's a subtle awareness, but it is certainly available to each of us. What are we really being called to? I was talking with a minister that had been a minister of a mega church. And you would think a minister of a mega church would have had this enormous calling, and I'm sure he did. But he said, we developed that church largely on my ego. So the two can be very closely aligned, what you're being called to spiritually and what your ego wants. But if you have to choose for this first idea, choose what the higher power, the higher part of you, the divine, is asking you. And then we'll ask that part, what does the ego want? Now, if the ego can support this, how glorious. If it is contrary, it's good to know. If you're being called one way, but your ego wants you to be another way, it's good to know. I don't have a way in this moment to tell you what to do about that. I think you're going to have a conundrum you might need to give yourself a stern talking to. But it's been my experience that when people listen to this higher aspect of themselves, though it may be a time delay, the wisdom of that goal, that direction, seems to pay out well. And though there might be an immediate success for the egoic aspect, the long term, it may not be as pleasant. You may get what you want, only to find you don't really want it. So we're listening first to what the divine is asking. And then we're asking the ego, do you agree? Can you get on board? Can this seem like an exciting, fun thing to do? All that I have read about achieving your goals lately has said if it's not intrinsically fun for you or rewarding in some way, the odds of you achieving it are minuscule. But if you can make the actions that you need to take to get there pleasurable in themselves, then you're much more likely to achieve that. Easy to see that when it comes to the area of exercise. If you do not like running and you have chosen running as your way of getting in shape, then the chances of you getting in shape are small. But if instead you really like to play tennis or dancing or something like that, and you do that, the chances of getting in shape are better. A lot better. So go with yourself, not against yourself in this process, to the best of your ability. Align the parts of you to get there. That's also why I included the question about What does your body want? What does your body want? Does it want to sit still? Does it want to move? Does it want you to stretch? I was thinking of this whole idea of stretching. So the body could want to stretch. The ego might want to look like a yoga teacher. And the spirit may want you to expand your ability to be sensitive to the world about you, softer in your touch, more flexible in your responses. And all three of these areas would be supportive of each other. If that should be what's happened in your thought process, I think you're on an easier trajectory than if you have your spirit wanting to go this way and your ego wanting to go that way and your body not wanting to do anything. It could be tough. Let's see if we can get those two aligned. And you'll have to do it by inquiry, asking of yourself. Now, which part of you is asking is a really good question, but let's just assume that this is going to work anyway without knowing that answer. You ask your divine, what am I being pulled toward? You ask your ego, what is it you want? You ask your body, what does it want? And see if you can find harmony. Now, once you begin to get to that point where it's harmonious, then we're going to write that down. You're going to write that down. What is the totality of your intention for the year? Where do you really want to go with this? That's what you want on that little blue sheet of paper. And that's what you keep. That part which is about where you're going as a human being. So I'm going to give you a few moments here to think about that. And we'll see. Jay's going to play a little bit of music. He didn't know he was going to be asked, but he's incredibly gifted. So he'll play a little bit. Then I will come back in a few minutes and I'll talk again. So take a few moments on that. If you can give me your attention again, I'll give you a few more hints here. One of the things about setting this is to realize that if you write this down and you make this real and big enough for you, your brain loves that challenge and it will invite you to move into action because it just loves the process of achieving. And so don't be afraid to put something down that sounds outrageously big or challenging. Your mind likes that sort of thing. By the same token, what you focus on is where you're headed. So if you're focusing on what's not working in this process, then that's where your attention and your energy will go. So then it's really important to focus toward the goal, to move by paying attention to that, not attention to what's difficult. And by like manner, then you don't want to be resisting what's in your field. You know, if let's say you wanted to lose weight and sugar had been your biggest downfall, if you say you'll never have another bite of sugar again, there's something in us that kicks in. It says, oh, hell yes, I will. And we'll just keep on until it gets it. And generally, when it comes in that fashion, you have no control over it. You're just binging. So put in cheat days where you can give in to that. Let yourself be normalized by going, oh yeah, I'll have it in another day or two. And then it diminishes. So the resistance also brings up pressure. So just relax a little bit about it. But by the same token, it's really important to hold yourself accountable. You can't just do that. If you give in every day, sometimes twice a day, it's probably not going to work, right? So you have to manage yourself by holding yourself accountable and also reward yourself when you actually do what you're after. So to somehow give yourself acknowledgement, be nice to yourself, recognize that you're on a process so you don't have to be perfect. They say if you're developing a habit, failing one day in the process doesn't really affect the development of the habit. Not going back and starting up again, that is what affects it. So you can have bad days, recognize them, don't resist too much, and move on toward your goal. It's just kind of like being a nice person to yourself. Anybody here have a hard time with that? Yeah. Good, nobody. That's good. Now, to achieve your goals, I think one of the first things you should do is really visualize it. To visualize it often enough, deep enough, or say it out loud in the affirmative, somehow bring it to the present state that you're actually doing it, that it feels like you're doing it. If you can feel like you're doing it, then it will begin to become yours. It will be easier to continue. You'll also know where you're going with this. You visualize, you affirm, you shout it from the rooftops, you write it, you pray it, you draw it, something. Make it yours. Don't be shy about making statements that you have not achieved yet, but that you're on the way toward. It is the affirmation of a future experience that often brings you the easiest path to it. So do your affirmations and do your visualizations. And also develop a written plan of how to get there. Let's say you wanted to be more peaceful. Do a plan that says, I'll meditate 20 minutes in the morning every morning before I have coffee. It is an actionable plan that you can actually do. Now, when they say you set your goals, which this isn't exactly, but when you say setting your goals, the common wisdom these days is to set SMART goals. This is not exactly necessarily that, but the way they would say that is you make them specific, first S, and SMART. You make them measurable. You make them attainable. You make them measurable. And you make them realistic. And if you will do those things, then you have broken it down into something you can keep track of and that you can actually do and you can see. But some of you have probably written down something like, I want to be at peace with all of creation. Not exactly a SMART goal, but a smart thing to do. So not all of these corporate ways of doing things apply on a spiritual practice, but you can see where you can apply them to it. So if you can, but you can make, I will meditate 20 minutes a day, every day. That is quite a SMART goal. So let's keep in mind how we can make this real. I really think we're only inviting ourselves to do what we really want to do. I don't think this works when you're working against yourself. If you don't want to do it, don't put it down there. It'll only make you feel like you're not achieving your goals. It'll only make you feel like one more time you're not measuring up, or you don't really have what it takes. But it's my experience with my limited ability, when I really focus on something I want and persistently pursue it, even when I fail, I'm learning something about how to get there. And so eventually, with persistence, because I really want it, I get there, right? So don't lie to yourself. Don't try to be somebody that you don't really want to be. But do really be who you want to be by just going for it and taking absolutely no tolerance of continued failure. We're all going to fail on the way there, but we don't stop. We continue. And my experience with the growth and spiritual growth practices is they are incredibly slow. Generally. Occasionally you have that burst of insight, but most of it is progress by increment. And so if you don't feel like you're really getting anywhere, there's a really good chance you are getting somewhere. It just doesn't show up yet. It's almost like you're putting money in the bank and you don't see anything, and then one day you wake up and you have a pile. You have accumulated slowly, but it is there. It is for you. So hang in there. Don't give up. Progress is assured if you put your heart into it. Let us be the person we want to be. Because this thing, whatever this is, what is this anyway? Do you ever wake up in the morning and look in the mirror or any other place and go, what is this? Right? What is life? But life seems to have one thing that makes it more compelling, and that is movement toward your desired outcome. So let's utilize whatever this is to allow ourselves to have an ever-expanding experience and to realize that we have been born children of the Most High, and with that comes enormous power and creativity. And if we use it persistently with courage and optimism, there's nothing that can keep us from that ultimate experience, our ultimate spiritual goal. So let us use the year 2023 to our full advantage. And may you be happy at the end of the year with what you have accomplished and go, I did it. Thank you. Let's meditate on our outcome. Let's take a little moment to meditate on our outcome. Feel it. So perhaps by now you have written it down. So now let's visualize it. And in the visualization, you may use your power of imagination, but also use your sense of feel. Feel what it's like to be there. Breathe it in. Breathe it in. Our collective experience of becoming who we really want to be. Let us breathe it in and realize we're not alone in this room. That the mystery of life is being shared by everyone here. So take comfort that you are where you belong to be. And so it is. And so we let it be. I have one more announcement. We were on the hunt for someone to help us with our social media, and we interviewed some very competent people, and we liked them, but we love the woman we hired. And I want to introduce you. This is Sophia Ivy. Sophia's been online with people, doing her work as she sat here. This is Sophia. So to get her off to a good start, please stand and say with me the blessing we give, usually to people who are leaving, but this is a good time, right? So together, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I was born by the river in a little town, just like sky. It's been a long time coming. I know a change is gonna come. Yes, it is. Well, I go to the movies and I go downtown. Both keep telling me, boy, don't you hang around. It's been a long time coming. I know a change is gonna come. Yes, it is. Well, now I go to my brother. I say, brother, help me please. Somehow, some way. Sometimes my brother, he just winds up knocking me back down on my knees. There've been times that I thought I couldn't last for long. Now I know I gotta carry on. It's been a long time coming. I know a change is gonna come. Yes, it is. Oh, it's been a long time coming. I know a change is gonna come. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Thank you, Tim. We love that. We love you. We love all the musicians. Love all of you being here today. We have many ways for you to develop your spiritual goals, and we have a couple of them happening today. One of them today is the last day for an informational meeting on how to become a prayer chaplain. And if you want to support a spiritual goal, being a prayer chaplain is one of the best ways to get into that space and to see progress. And any prayer chaplain will tell you it's the best thing that they've ever done. So, if you have an interest and would like more information, before we start the training, this is the last one, the meeting will be upstairs in the conference room at 12:30. And also today we have the Healing Circle, which will be held in the green room. This is a spiritual support group. So come, feel supported, listen to what your heart is saying and needs expressing, and have others support you during that process. We will be meeting at 12:30. Hope to see you there. And another way to really enhance your spiritual goals is the affirmative prayer class. It's offered once a year. It will start this Thursday for 5 weeks. It will be offered in person and online. So we encourage you to come out, hear what affirmative prayer is and why Unity supports it. That will start on Thursday the 12th, this Thursday the 12th, from 7 to 9. And then the Women of Color will be offering a healing service on the 22nd of this month at 5 o'clock. Yes, at 5 o'clock. And then last but not least, we will be holding another meditation vigil the 28th of January. Our theme will be loving kindness, which we feel like the world really needs right now. And as we come together as a collective consciousness, we can support and uplift the world. So that will be for a 12-hour meditation vigil. It will be also offered in person and online. You will join it like you do a Sunday service. It will be live streamed, so you can participate in either way. So now I'd like to ask the ushers, the greeters, to come forward as we bless our gifts. We are a spiritual family here, and what families do is they support one another. So we're asking that you come to your heart and support this spiritual community so that we can start out this year in a solid financial footing. So we ask online for you to also participate. You can go to the website, unitytriangle.org, click on the donate button, and support us in that way, or here in the sanctuary, or the machines that are out in the lobby for credit cards or debit cards. So now let's bless the gifts that are already on their way to us with the affirmation on the screen together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.